And there we are, there it is, all clipped up. Got two nice sized baits, all tucked in behind that 7-ounce lead. Well, I think we've actually got something. Oh, good evening. Good evening and welcome back to Frugal Outdoors with myself, Dylan. And as you can tell, obviously, we're out fishing tonight, but we're fishing on sand. So this is very different. I don't normally fish on sand. I do much prefer fishing off shingle if I can help it. But today we're fishing on sand. We're fishing in Sandown Bay. Sandown Bay is right on the east side of the Isle of Wight. It's a shallow venue, and I don't really fish it very often, so I am looking forward to tonight. As you can see, well, you might be able to see, the moon is behind me, and it's a crescent moon, so it's quite a small tide tonight. We're fishing it, I don't know, maybe 2.5 hours down, maybe 2.5 hours back up, or thereabouts anyway. We'll be fishing for maybe 5 hours-ish. In the hope, really, of picking up a ray and or a sole. Now, I haven't had any luck with sole this year, so I'm hoping tonight will be the turn of my luck. I'm fishing with my usual setups that I use when I'm beach fishing, which is two 13'6" Daiwa surf rods and two fixable Shimano reels. It's a good setup, it's a really light setup, and it suits me down to the ground. I don't have massive amount of experience of using different reels, multipliers, and different rods and such, but for me, they're comfortable, they're light, and easy to use. Difficult to malfunction. So yeah, we're gonna chuck a few baits out and see what happens. We've got some frozen fish baits, and I've got some fresh worm, which I've literally just picked up. Believe it or not, it's only 6 o'clock. So the clocks have all changed. And I know some people really enjoy the sort of nighttime fishing, the winter fishing, because it's dark all the time, like my buddy Nick. But yeah, for me, I don't know, there's something quite special about at least starting the session in the daylight hours. But yeah, that is going to be a very rare occurrence from this day forth. I'm fishing with braid today. It is strong braid. It's 58 pound, which is way overkill for what we're fishing for today. But you know what? It doesn't really make sense to me. And keep changing your line. The braid I'm using is only, let's turn this on while we're here. The braid I'm using is only something like 0.26, 0.28 of a millimetre diameter, which is tiny. It's far less than any 16-pound mono. And if I do happen to find a snag, which is unlikely here, but if I do find one, it means I'm definitely, or not definitely, but 99% chance of getting my gear back. But like I said before, this is a very shallow, sandy venue. So yeah, it's not what I'm used to fishing at all, really. My side of the island, which is the west side, is, you know, we do have a couple of sandy beaches, but it is predominantly, you know, some nice deep water venues, really, or deeper, shall we say. And there's definitely some snags around. With any luck, we won't find one tonight. Boom, look at those, lovely and bright. Oh, well, this is pleasant. It's a really clear sky, actually. We've been having some pretty beastly weather lately. So it's nice to have a little bit of a calm. Been away, went down to Devon, spent some time with the family and stuff in the caravan park, which was awesome. Chalabra Bay. What a pretty place that is. And I bet you it chucks up some fish. I didn't do any fishing. Right, rigs this evening. I have knocked up for some personal use. I have sold these online before, but to be honest, I don't really like making them. But I've got some Portsmouth loop rigs. Pompey loop rig. Ian Gold's loop rig. We've got a size 2.0 pennel on the bottom and a single size one on the top hook. 60 pounds, so it's quite heavy. What it does mean is if I do get into, you know, a nice ray, definitely a chance of possibly a conger eel down here, then, you know, we stand a decent chance of getting it in. The beauty with the the Pompey loop rig. This is actually a pulley one. It's the top one, basically, is a pulley, your normal pulley rig. Maybe fishing for a pouting, smaller species, dogfish, anything really. And then we can have a nice pennel on the bottom, which I can put a nice whole anchovy. And hopefully we'll get some scent towards our bait. Rather than using one big one, we're going to be using 2 smaller ones. Yeah, and hopefully we can bring in some fish. Right, let's have a look at this then, because this has been in my van all day and we're still frozen, partially frozen. So you got a nice bag of sand eels, nice bag of anchovies, and then basically I've got a part bag of squid. That's the smaller one. I've got 2 part bags of squid. Yeah, fishing on sand, not a fan. I've got to be honest, I am not a fan. But having said that, if we have a decent session tonight, my view may well change. And then in here, we've got some stunning ragworm. Like I said, I've literally just picked this up. Did have some hooks in here somewhere as well. I wanted to change some hooks. So I popped in today to see Paul at East Cowes angling. It's the first time I've been in there. Paul opened the shop maybe a few months ago now. And I popped in to get some rag. Oh yeah. Yeah, awesome. Look at those puppies. Delicious. As you all know, I don't really use ragworm a whole bunch, but I did want to have a go for a sole today, so you can't really fish for sole without it, so I had to. Oh, do you know what? Let's do it. I know it's a little bit OTT, but I am going to fish with a whole anchovy and squid wrap on the bottom, on the pennel. I'm going to fish the whole sand eel and squid wrap on the top. It's all a little bit of a mouthful for me today. Head and tail off the anchovy. Anchovy is a great bait, and a piece of squid about the same size. Quickly bind that on, and that is the bottom bait sorted. Yeah, I really do like using anchovy. Like through the winter, it's probably one of my go-tos. They're kind of like bait sized already. You can of course cut them in half and use them as a, you know, like a single fillet with a piece of squid just to bulk it out. You know, dogfish love them, but so do rays. I've had some decent congers on them as well. It's a good all-round bait really, I think, and certainly when I'm fishing the matches, then that's my sort of go-to. So I've bound them together. I'm going to stick my hook in the bottom, in the squid part of the bait. But you'll notice that sometimes I do pronounce my T's as well, so not quite so uneducated as some people would lead you to believe. A load of elastic. I use Baytex, but any elastic will do. Just this one's a little bit better for the environment. And as, like a lot of you, we do try to be a bit more conscious about our fishing. I think small changes can make a difference. And there we go, got a really small octopus beak hook there in the top, and that is the bottom bait. And then exactly the same process with the sand eel. I know this may get a bit boring, I am aware, going over bait stuff all the time. I just think, for me, well, one, it reminds myself to try and be as neat as possible, and two, you know, for anyone new to sea fishing, like I was not very long ago, then I just think it does help to see how other people are doing it. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm doing it correctly, but it's just the way that I do have some success with. And the same again, I'm going to put the hook in the squid part of that bait, just because it's a little bit firmer. We'll bind that all the way up the line, and then that is good to go. We'll get a lead on it and we're going to get it straight in. Put it on our heavier rod. They are both rated 4 to 8 ounce, but yeah, one of them is slightly stiffer than the other one. Now I am using 7 ounce grippers here. It's 100% not necessary. I've got 6s in there which I could easily use, but I do find personally that these rods, I don't know if they're all the same, but these ones definitely work better with a 7-ounce lead. They work better and I can cast further with a heavier lead. I'm gonna get a wet knee. Really should have my head torch on. And there we are, there it is, all clipped up. Got 2 nice sized baits, all tucked in behind that 7-ounce lead, which should tow it out there reasonably well. We've got a little bit of wind coming from my right. I've got a little bit of a walk as well, but I'm hoping where I've positioned myself, I won't have to move at all with the tide going up and down, because that's one of the reasons why I don't come fishing here, is because it is shallow. I've got to cart all the camera gear up and down the beach. And there we have it. One is out. God of stars, it's amazing. Right, let's get the other one baited, and then we're fishing on 2 rods. And because we're not quite at low tide yet, and to be honest, I actually haven't got any sole rigs with me. I've got to tie some hooks on to some other rigs, butcher one of these basically, one of my bream rigs. I'm going to chuck out a bream rig which has got ragworm, both hooks, both tipped off with some squid. I'll chuck this out just to have a little fish for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to grab another couple of rigs, take the hooks off, and put some smaller size 4 Aberdeens, take the pop-ups off obviously, and then I can fish with a couple of worms nice and tight on the bottom. And there we are, both rods are out, both fishing. I'm going to sort out one of these rigs, change up the hooks on it so I can actually target some sole properly, and then yeah, hopefully we'll get a bite. Fishing for a bite. Would love to get a ray, would love to get a sole, but to be honest, if I get a couple of bites, I'll be happy. Like I said before, I don't really know this area very much. Yeah, so if I can get into a fish or 2, I'll be over the moon. Oh, there we go. That was definitely a little bite. Little bite on the bream rig. Not a bream, I'm going to hazard a guess. But something's definitely having a little nibble on it. There we go, look at that. I am going to leave things develop a little bit more tonight. My last session, although I did get a lovely bass, I was definitely lifting into the rod a little bit too soon, and I missed quite a few bites. So I'm going to try and not do that again. I mean, that is, it's tiny, whatever it is, but it's definitely going. I think I'll leave it another couple of minutes. I have just butchered one of my rigs and put this little size 4 Camazans on there. So the next cast I'll be really properly targeting the sole, even though the tides are probably wrong. But as I've said all along, you can only come fishing when you can come fishing. Yeah, sit on my hands, base another rig and sit on my hands. Well, I was just getting a nice bite on the right hand side there, and I was baiting, there it goes again, I was baiting the other rig. I could see it going, but I wanted to leave it for a little bit. I mean, both rods are getting small-ish bites, I would say. Left-hand one is the ragworm, and the right-hand one is the fish bait. So, yeah, you never know. I think I'm going to have a little look at the ragworm. I don't think there's anything there. Well, I guess that serves me right for saying I'm going to leave the bites develop tonight. Hook's gone on a 30-pound snood. There's not going to be crabs. I'd imagine, looking at what I'm pulling off that line, it was a small strap conger eel. So hopefully it's not the same thing that's gone over to the other one, although it did look like a better bite. So there we go. One adapted sole rig, hooks off, no pop-ups, couple of beads on the bottom, one up, one down with some size 4 Aberdeen hooks. We'll see what happens. I haven't cast that out very far at all. It's maybe 40 yards or so. Like I say, the tide is still going out, probably for another hour and a half, I would have thought. So, you know, it's probably not the best time to be fishing for a sole. I think they do tend to fish better on the incoming tide, but I will see. If nothing else, we've got a worm bait out, haven't we? Well, I think we've actually got something. Look at that. 2 seconds in the water. Only just tied that rig. Absolutely trashed by a conger. Right, let's get this thing unwrapped, get it back in. Right, let's get this one back out. Get this one back out. Let's check that one, because it has gone a few times, and if there's a few strap congers around, I want to make sure my rigs aren't getting trashed, and then I think I'm just going to bin that rig. Let's have a look. Well, after all those bites, there's nothing on there. Well, I am absolutely shocked that there's nothing on that. The amount of bites it was getting. But never mind. Let's stick another rig on it and chuck it out and hope for the best. This worm, honestly. Oh man, look at that. That is, I think, the smallest strap conger, bootlace, shoelace, cord of an eel I think I've ever seen in real life. And it's trashed another rig. Yeah, I think I've got some sand eels in my box that are bigger than that. Oh, right, another rig down. You think if there's smaller fish like that out there, there's got to be some bigger stuff out there feeding on it. I mean, I'm not going to catch it on the ragworm, obviously, but you know, we're getting bites on the bigger baits. Haven't hooked anything, so I'm assuming it's probably those tiny little conger eels. God damn it. Man, oh man, oh man. They're out in force. Right. I'm going to cast one more ragworm bait out, and then I'm going to wait until the tide starts to push up a little bit more. I've lost another hook. This one's all tangled up, and the hook's somehow still attached, but not where it should be. Yeah, a little bit of a nightmare at the moment. I think what I'll do, I'll chuck this one out, and then I'm going to rig up a pulley pennel with some 3/0s and just chuck a bigger bait out there so it can just stay out there for a while. Because at the moment, every time I put a ragworm bait out, it's getting absolutely trashed. Okay. Keep pushing on through. Oh, dry all night, they said. Just had a passing shower. Hence I got another layer, but we are getting a bite. Hopefully, fingers crossed, not another strap conger eel. But who knows? Getting a bite on the left one as well. That is the ragworm. Literally just got out a pulley pennel with 3/0s to bait up instead, so I'm going to sack the ragworm off for a minute or two. But yeah, something having a little go. Yeah, it's difficult so far. I mean, this is crazy. I've had like 6 casts, probably with the worm, and I've only had, oh, look, absolute tangled mess again. Ugh. Yeah, 6 casts with the worm, and I've only had 2 casts on the other side with the fish baits. So, let's change it up. Let's stick out pulley pennel with another fish bait so I can just chill for a minute. There we go. Good old pulley pennel. Let's see how this gets on. As you can see, the weather is not playing ball tonight at all. Oh, I'm going to bring this one in. It's the fishy baits. They've been out there for easily half an hour. They've been bouncing every now and again. Oh, I might have something on there. It's not very big, whatever it is. Could just be a bit of weed. Well, these little guys are absolutely relentless tonight. Just hoping maybe a couple of bigger baits might be able to fish on through them. Oh, getting a couple of touches on both rods actually at the moment. Finally, this rain's eased off for a minute or two. I just had a video sent to me by my stepson. He's currently at Plymouth University, and obviously we caught up at the weekend. That's why we were down in Devon, and yeah, he's also out fishing in the rain. Also, hopefully catching congers because there's some big ones down there. Yeah, sent him down with a load of rigs and stuff like that, get him going. He has been on the channel before fishing with me, so hopefully he's picked up a couple of semi-useful tips, and yeah, he's getting into some fish. I'm just waiting for one of these to give me a little bit more of a positive indication that there's something on there. They're both getting little taps. I think it is just those small conger eels at the moment, but we'll keep persisting, we'll keep trying to fish through them, and you never know, we might actually get something a little bit bigger. Oh dear. Well, that left-hand rod is going again. I think I'd be more excited, wouldn't you? But we're quite a few congers in now. And I don't suppose any of them have been over about 9 ounces. No, I'm not complaining. We're catching fish. But as we all know, it would be nice to catch something a little bit bigger. There it goes again. Still going. So at the moment, I'm just rotating these bigger baits, Portsmouth loop rigs and that pulley pennel, just to see if we can hold off catching one of these smaller strap congers, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to. Well, I think we're just getting to the bottom of the tide. So with any luck, some things might switch on and might change. And I've got a ragworm bait there ready to go back out in a minute, but let's say we'll leave it just a sec. Wait for that tide just to sort of push up just a smidgen, and then I'll be getting some ragworm out there again. I've got to show you this. Hopefully it comes up. So that's my stepson. He's just caught his first Cooch's bream, and I've never caught Cooch's bream. Obviously we don't get them on the Isle of Wight. I think you might be lucky. There might be a couple of random ones lurking around somewhere. But yeah, chuff for him, man. First Cooch's bream. What a stunning fish. It does look like it might be a slightly better conger eel. Not going to be too eager, just in case it isn't. Might be a beautiful ray sat on it. All right, let's just pop it back for a minute, I think. I don't want to rush it. Yeah, I just wanted to say as well, while we wait for hopefully that to develop, thank you to everybody for your massively overwhelming support for the competition that we're putting on. We filled all of the spaces, all of the junior spaces, all of the adult spaces, and it would be really cool to see everybody fishing on the same beach. It is something a little bit different, and it's always going to be difficult to please everybody. But it does seem that at least 99% of people do think it's a pretty decent idea. So if you're one of the people that have signed on, I really look forward to seeing you on the beach. Well, again, that bite hasn't turned into anything, so I'm going to change this one on the right, chuck some fresh baits out. That tide really hasn't started to come in yet. Oh, what have we got here? Stuck in the sand, bit of weed. Strap conger. Strap conger and weed. That's probably what it is. Wow. There we are. Getting good at this guess the fish malarkey. Oh, another tiny one. Another tiny one and a bit of seaweed. Proving to be quite difficult to get through them tonight. I've lost count of how many little conger eels we've had. Would like to think that things might change for the better. We are getting bites every cast, pretty much, but I think the fish are so small that we're not hooking them, because they're all tiny strap conger eels. Right, let's just keep baiting, keep rebaiting, keep chucking them out, and hopefully our fortunes will change. Whoa! That just got absolutely whacked. I think it was a bass. It's just on the, it's just a ragworm in super close. No. No. Oh, that's better. I was just contemplating on putting a bit of a rag bomb out there, and I think that's just answered my my thoughts really, because that was quite a nice knock. Wrapped up, getting wrapped up in a rig. I think there's a couple of bass out there tonight, and I think what I'm going to have to do is change my rigs, put some bigger hooks out there. We're definitely seeing some nice bites on the ragworm now though. I just took a bit of line, so I've got a little bit of a plan. I'm going to chuck this one out because it's ready to go, and it's got some nice little bunches of ragworm on there, but it's still got those size 4 hooks, and I think the size 4 hooks are a bit small for a bass. And I think that's what's hitting the baits at the moment. Certainly, of course, you will catch one, I have no doubt, but I think I'd sooner have a bigger circle hook out there. So what I'm going to do is, I haven't got any bass rigs, but I have got some dongles. So I'm going to bait up a dongle with a nice ball of ragworm underneath it. And we'll see how we get on with that. I'm getting bites again though. What I've done this time is I've left the wires off, or, you know, unclipped on my leads. But yeah, let's get a dongle out. Let's change things up a little bit. Let's have a bit of fun, shall we? Oh, I really am trying here, everyone, to not catch strap congers. But it appears that at the moment, that is all I can catch. Right, well, I'm going to try this big old bunch of ragworm on a dongle. I don't know, I'm just trying anything now. But yeah, a few more casts and I think I'm done. Well, going out with another, they're not big baits. I mean, that one is a, that's a sandeel and squid wrap. But I don't know, everything is getting annihilated at the moment. So this is going to be the last cast on this side, because I don't seem to be able to fish. Like, I'm fishing through them, as in, I mean, I don't even know what fish through means. I'm continuing to fish, but I'm still finding them. I think I'm going to have the last cast on this one as well. Oh, do you know what? I actually thought I was into something decent then, but the grippers just held really well. Oh God. So I'm going to quickly chuck this one out as well, and then that is going to be me done. Start having a little bit of a tidy up, give them a nice little soak, sit and watch all the tiny little rattles of more strap conger eels. But let's see how we get on anyway. Because do you know what I haven't had for a little while? That's a lucky last cast fish. So, you know, maybe. Hey, mate. And there we have it. That is the highlight of my evening this evening. At least the bait has gone to a good cause. There you go, you can smell it. It's right in front of you. It's there. It's there. There we go. There's two there now. Oh, taking them both up. Cool. Very cool. Well, as you can see, the rods are still there. I've given it another maybe 15 or 20 minutes. They haven't moved, surprisingly. So I'm going to bring them in. I'm going to pack it down now. I'm fishing right on the other side of the island from where I live, so it's a little bit of a trek for me to get home, but not as far as some of you have to drive to get to the coast. So I do feel quite privileged and lucky in that sense. The fishing this evening, the fishing's been enjoyable. The catching has been rubbish. We've caught many, many, many fish, and they've all been tiny strap congers about this big. So yeah, I don't think I've ever caught so many conger eels in one session. Yeah, and I'm not sure I really want to again, I've got to be honest. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch one of these videos. It's very, very much appreciated. If you go back to the back catalogue, there's a few better ones where I've caught a few fish. I mean, I have had a really good run lately, so I can't really complain. It was always going to happen at some point. I was going to get a bit of a clanger, and it just so happened it was this evening. So I know if you haven't made it this far, I do hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, not the best session in the world, but hey, we were out having a go. If you're not out trying, you're never going to know, are you? So anyway, until the next one, please take care, stay safe, and maybe I'll see you out there. Cheers. in the hope really of picking up a ray and or a sole. I haven't had any luck with any sole yet this year. I haven't had any I haven't had any luck with sole this year, so I'm hoping tonight will be the turn of my luck.